What's up, guys? Welcome to another one of my gunsmith videos. Today we are going to be replacing the trigger and hammer spring and the disconnector spring for a lighter trigger pull. So what we're using is going to be this here. It's Kaw Valley Precision, and it's supposed to take the weight of your trigger down 2 to 4 pounds. We're going to see how it turns out today, and we'll see what we get whenever it's all said and done. We'll test out the trigger and see how heavy it is. But what we're going to do is just take out the old stuff and put in these new springs, and then we'll test it out. So what I've done is I've got it sitting on a couple little blocks here. And I have a brass punch that I use to be able to push my pins out. Now these pins are actually in here pretty tight, so I've already gotten them started. I didn't have to do it that way. I don't have to bang or anything while I'm on this video. You do have to hold pressure. Well, it looks like it's not going to come all the way out without banging on it. So we're going to knock that spring out, hold that tight, and then the hammer will come out with its spring here, as you can see, and we're going to replace that spring with the new one. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and take out the spring that holds in the sear and the trigger. There's the sear. And then we'll pull the trigger out of here, which just slides right on out. Now, before I go any further, it's not trying to focus. There we go. So we're going to replace that spring as well. Also, this spring here, which is the disconnector spring, so that one will be replaced also. Before I go any further, I want to tell you this is a New Frontier lower. It is all polymer. The housing is polymer, the trigger is polymer, the disconnector is polymer, and the hammer. I've had this firearm for many years, and I have never had an issue with this. It does make the firearm a lot lighter, which I like. So yeah, but the only thing that's metal in here are the springs and the pins that hold the fire control group in. Everything else is polymer in this. Your takedown pins are polymer, the housing is polymer, everything. Alright, so let's set that to the side, and we're going to change out these springs. Now this is just a company and some springs that was introduced to me over the weekend, and I decided I'd try to give it a shot, see what we've got going on, and see if it actually makes a difference in my AR. So we will see. I'm going to start here with the trigger spring. It's kind of difficult. Alright, so there's the trigger spring installed. Now we'll take off the hammer spring. Put on the new hammer spring. Alright, new hammer spring in place. I'm going to take this disconnector spring out of here, so I'm going to use my little punch, pull that out, and as you can see, that right side is a little bit fatter than the left side. That side goes down into trigger. Alright, so now we'll put the new one in, and as you look at the new one, you'll see that right side is a little fatter, so it goes down in that way. Drop it in there like that. Alright, now putting this back in here to me is a little bit of a pain. Guys, my camera died and I had to charge it up, so I did a little bit while I was in the process of waiting on it. So I've got all the springs on, dropped the trigger back in. As you can see, it's right here. Next thing we're going to do is drop the sear in. It goes right over here, or disconnector. Not the sear. We're going to put the disconnector in, and then we're going to push down and hold it in place. Actually, and then we're going to push our pin in. Alright, so now we have that. Disconnector's in place, trigger's in place. Okay, so then next we're going to put our trigger in. And, our hammer. And the trigger actually has two little flat spots on the side of the posts. And what you can do is put the legs of the spring right there on those spots. Okay, and then get your pin ready, get your holes lined up. Get the hole lined up. This one might be easier if you, to do the hammer, it might be a little bit easier if you put the punch in, just to keep the guide going, or keep a guide on it. Drive that right on through. And now we have a completed spring replacement. So safety is working fine. Test out the functionality. Seems to be working pretty good. I'll show you guys what I'm testing out here. I did not mean to do that. Push it back, let it catch. As you can see, there's no play in this trigger, which I love about this AR. It's releasing just fine. Alright, and I was going to test my the weight of it. I'm gonna put it on safety so that it doesn't fly forward, but I don't have my meter. I kind of loaned it to a friend, so I'm not gonna be able to test it right now. We'll test it later and see if it actually works out. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. Thanks again. I do have some other stuff that I'm going to be doing to this one later on in the future, and I will be sure and get that on as well. Thanks. Have a great day. Alright guys, so funny story. As soon as I was getting ready to upload this video, my buddy brought back my meter. So we're going to test this out, see what kind of trigger pull we get on this thing. We'll run 3 different tests so that we can get some accurate measurements. Alright, so right there we're looking at just a little over 4. Okay, 4 pounds, 4.2 ounces. Alright, so let's cock it, reset it, and that one is 3 pounds 13.2 ounces. We'll recock, reset, and we'll run one more. That one was 4 pounds 6 ounces. So it's running anywhere from about 3.5 to 4.5 pounds. I don't understand the inconsistency in it. Let's try it again and see what we get. Three pounds 10.6 ounces. So it's about 4 pounds. So the guy that sold it to me told me that I would get 4 pounds out of this. That I would have a 4 pound trigger after it was done. And he is obviously correct. So that's 3 pounds 11.8 ounces. So we're looking anywhere from 3.5 to 4 pounds. 3 pounds 12.8 ounces. This now is a very, 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 very light trigger. I'm going to set that to the side, and we're going to test the travel. So there is no actual play in it. It's pretty solid. It snaps. So there's no travel. There's no creep. And that's lovely. I love that. So, alright, there you have it, guys. Brand new Kaw Valley reduced power spring kit for an AR-15 trigger spring kit. It comes with the blue reduced power trigger spring, blue reduced power hammer spring, and a silver disconnector spring. This is the kit. It's about 15 bucks. Reduces AR-15 trigger pull. Says the reduced power spring kit yielding a 5 to 6 pound trigger pull, weight in mil-spec single stage fire control groups. Factory mil-spec fire control groups range from 8 to 9 pounds with factory springs. Typical fire control groups will achieve a 2 to 4 pound reduction in trigger pull weight. I don't know what mine was before. If I remember correctly, I believe it was 7.5. So we have dropped about 4 pounds, which is awesome. So there you go, guys. There's a lot of other things I'm going to be doing to this AR, and I will make videos on that stuff. But until then, I will see you guys next time.